And we're back with another video, and I was not going to do a video on this topic because it's boring stuff, but there's a part of it that I had to share. And even if no one watches this video, I want you to have this information. I think at the very least, I want you all to have some food for thought on how Stellantis reports its earnings and its losses. And I am not by any means ever a fan of anyone or company or human being who likes to play the victim and blame game. And in this case, I don't know whether it's, well, I would say it is Stellantis, but it's also the media. And I'm not here to pick a political side. I'm here simply to make the point and show you what's going on so that you can see that Stellantis is suffering tremendously, but not willing to accept that they're suffering at their own hand, which bothers me. And if you're a shareholder, you've got to scratch your head and go, why don't they just own where they screwed this thing up? Let me show you what's going on here on how they reported this. So here is the article on Reuters. Stellantis sees greater tariff impact after $2.7 billion first half loss. Now that's massive. That's a massive loss. It's a massive swing from what happened last year where they had like $5 billion in profit. If you look at the AP, Stellantis warns of $2.7 billion loss for first half of 2025 due to tariffs and some big charges. But see, tariffs. You notice tariffs. And these news stories are jamming tariffs as the reason, just like they blamed the postponing of the Hornet and postponing of the Daytona RT due to tariffs. And this is where the blame game's starting. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. How much was that impact? So if we go down here, the company estimates that U.S. tariffs, which are only partial part of the year, cost 300 million euros. 300 million euros, I believe that's about $350 million. So let's say $2.7 billion, and because it's 2.3 billion euros, but $2.7 billion. If you take $350 million off of 2.7 billion, you end up with like, what is it, 2.35. So $1 billion left. There's still like $2.35 billion that weren't affected by tariffs. So what happened there? Well, if you read through both these articles, they get into the reasoning, and a lot of it platform impairments, restructuring, net impact costs related to emission standards, blame. Automakers have been penalized for fuel economy issues, everything else. So, and they go on, but what I don't see in here, and then they get into blaming Trump for his tariffs, and I'm not talking about what the fuck is wrong with my mouth? Anyways, I'm not talking about politics here. I definitely don't want to go there, but when you look at the direction they're going, but for some reason General Motors is doing okay. Ford is expecting they're going to be doing okay. Certainly different dynamics of where cars are made for Ford that would benefit them, I imagine. General Motors expects, obviously the numbers aren't out for the first half, but they expect they're going to be coming out okay, even expecting that they're going to beat the earnings per share consensus. So even with the tariffs, now they could revise expectations, and they should have likely revised expectations when the tariffs were implemented. So this is still beating what I would expect were revised expectations to Wall Street. So I don't know for sure they did that. I don't follow it that close, but no matter how you cut it, if you go back here, but these freaking clowns over here are like, well, the tariffs and all the changes and everything else. And it's like, how about we just acknowledge one thing? Tavares and the board of directors pushed him into going down a road that they should have went down 5 years before when Ford did with the Mach-E. They should have launched that stupid Hornet thing as an EV right alongside that ugly Mustang Mach-E. Because frankly, I think the Hornet looks better than the Mach-E. They could have done that and literally avoided having to get rid of the Hemi cars. come out with the new body style. Whether you like it or not, it needed to be changed, despite the fact that I love the old body style. The interiors needed to be updated. Technology needed to be updated. I get all that stuff, even though I hate the technology because it just breaks, but you get what I'm saying. And they could have tossed a 5.7, jammed a freaking 6.4 in there, made the car to where it would fit these things, and continue down that road and continue to sell probably hundreds of thousands of these cars. Popped a Pentastar straight into that new body style and kept selling the hell out of those things for $35,000 hand over fist, literally hand over fist. They would have been selling them, and they would have been able to cruise through this. But instead, they made mistakes. They made bad decisions. They made errors in judgment. They caused this to happen. The tariffs are $350 million, but the $2.3 billion left over, that's on them. So you can blame tariffs in the headlines, in the first part of the sentence, but that is the smallest amount of what caused them to lose $2.7 billion. It's the smallest number. Now, let me ask you all, forget about politics. This is just straight up, just man to man, human to human, person to person. If you had, I don't know, let's say you had $300 and you lost 50 of it, but kept 250. Now, that would suck. Would you go running, calling the police, losing your mind? No. Maybe we should change it to $3,000. You lose $500, it sucks. But at least you got the 2.5. You got the 2,500. But if you lost the 25 and only kept the 500, you'd be freaking hunting that person down. Well, in this case, they're making a bigger deal, it appears, about the 300 million, the small number, than the big number. This headline should have been, Stellantis warns of $2.7 billion loss for first half of 2025 due to horrible decisions from prior leadership that must be corrected under the new administration in North America. And tariffs kind of hurt a little bit to the tune of a small fractional amount of about $350 million. That's probably how it should have been worded. But no, they're going to go right in for the politics. Tariffs, 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 tariffs. That's not the problem we have, folks. It's not the problem. Cars were overpriced before they came here. And I'm not, again, getting political in any way. I just would like for Stellantis to own, that's my biggest issue, to own their horrible decisions, because I don't believe they can get better or correct themselves until they full on admit we screwed up. We shouldn't have launched this stupid EV thing. We shouldn't have launched a freaking Hornet of all things and tried to sell it as gateway to muscle and a performance CUV thing. These were stupid moves. And by the way, every one of you who watch my videos, go back to when all this was happening. We're screaming, we don't want this thing. Every one of you. And they could have at least listened. In the comments when they were announcing going electric, every single social media platform, every post they made, every blog they had, every Reddit group or forum online were screaming, we don't want a Dodge Charger EV. We don't want it. The vast majority of the people, minus a handful of very soft, smooth-brained, latte-drinking men, if you want to... were screaming, yes, I want that thing. But the vast majority, they didn't want it. But they didn't listen. They still launched those stupid things knowing they were going to fail based on every single website, every single blog, every single post. And same with the Hornet. From the second they announced that thing, despite dealers ordering cars, which when Tim said 14,000 were ordered, that was dealers trying to load their lots up because they had nothing coming. And they were hoping that would at least be something they could sell. But it turns out that wasn't the customers. And they should have learned that just by reading, just by listening. So I wanted to chime in on this. I know I've said it a million times, but business intrigues me. Business successes intrigue me. and excite me, and colossal business failures definitely make me scratch my head, considering that I'm, like, by definition, an idiot compared to some of these really, really smart, I mean, Ivy League college grads and geniuses from world-renowned colleges and educations and backgrounds who couldn't figure out that a bunch of guys here in America rolling around in Hemi Dodge Chargers and Challengers doing donuts and smoking their tires knew and told them, don't do this. Don't go down this dangerous road. And they did. Now they're going to say, well, we lost all this money. We're going to lose all this money because of tariffs. Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. Anyways, with that, let me know your thoughts on this. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.